Hello guys and welcome back to FPL Graduates. We're here today for first drafts. I'm Ben.
My name's Josh.
And we've got a special guest here today. It's Lewis.
Up the Chelsea.
From Chelsea. Let's get into it.
So in today's video we're going to be talking over our first drafts of our FPL teams. Obviously the fixtures haven't been released yet, so they'll change massively before the season starts, but just to give you a heads up on some of the players we're liking and some of the players we're not. So do you want to start, Ben?
Yeah, I'll start with mine. I have gone big kahunas 5 at the back. Come on.
Terrible.
I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing for the 5 at the back. So on the screen should be my team now. And yeah, I've gone for Eric Dyer, Trent, Vinagre, Dallas and Peters at the back, and these 4.5 defenders, there's so many options you could pick for. So I've gone for those 3. Eric Dyer, he's playing centre back this season under Jose Mourinho, so I am thinking he's going to play really well in that position.
Yeah, some good choices. There are so many defenders that, like Ben said, you can pick from. It's just the case of seeing who's probably the best defensive team. That's what you're gonna have to wait for, and then obviously chop and change.
Obviously in goal I've gone for McCarthy with Nyland on the bench because at 4 million he could also be starting as well.
Yeah.
Rayner's obviously left now, he was on loan last season, gone back. So McCarthy and Nyland, I'm still not sure on McCarthy, but Southampton looked solid defensively at the end of last season. So in midfield I've gone for 3 in the middle. I've gone Mahrez, I've gone Sterling and Salah. 3 pretty big players who I think will get attacking returns.
Pep roulette though?
Yeah, I'm just not going to think about that for a while. It will come round to 90 minutes before the season starts and I'll be panicking over it because Pep would have said something dodgy in his press conference like, I aim to start these players and I'll start panicking. And yeah, we will know FPL is definitely back by then. And up top, I'm starting with 2. Well, it could change, but I've got 2. I've got Timo Werner and I've got Raul Jimenez. I'm excited about Werner. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
I'm probably more excited than you are. I'm more excited than you are about Werner because the stats he was producing for Leipzig, ridiculous. So I'm expecting him to bang.
But we all know Chelsea's history of strikers though, so who knows what is going to happen.
Yeah, just don't give him.
Costa, Drogba, Hasselbank, we've had some class ones, haven't we?
Yeah, let's just hope it is more of a Drogba than a Morata or
Shevchenko, he was pretty
Yeah.
good.
I thought you guys were going to say Tammy and actually be dodgy for a sec.
Who knows. So, on my subs bench, Bukayo Saka, who is looking like a really decent option this year. 5.5 million, he's priced at the same point as players such as Saint-Maximin, and he does look very good, and he does look like he's scoring goals. He's involved in play, Arteta likes him, so it was a no-brainer for me to get him in.
New number 7 as well.
So he could be that spark that Arsenal needed.
Yeah.
I've also gone Souček from West Ham. He looks like a really interesting option, and I think first 5 weeks we'll be able to see whether he's going to produce the numbers that he's been producing the last 2 seasons. He's got about 31 goals and 15 assists in the last 2 seasons alone, so I'm hoping he can replicate that and get some points off my bench for my team. So, on to Josh. What have you gone for?
So I've gone small at the back, playing 3-5-2. You need to get as many premium midfielders in there as possible. So starting off, I've gone the same keeper, Alex McCarthy in goal. But I've got a 4.5 million rotation there, so I've got Matt Ryan on the bench. I like doing this, I like just switching between my 2 keepers because then, last season I had, I think, McCarthy and Dean Henderson because they had alternating fixtures. When Henderson was playing someone good, McCarthy was playing someone bad, so it worked out well like that. I think that's the best way to do it in my opinion. In my defence, I've gone Trent Alexander-Arnold and Vinagre, as well as Luke Shaw, who's a questionable choice. It's a £5 million option. I'm trying to get a United defender in there because I think they're just really solid at the back and probably be one of the best defensive teams going into next season. So it's between him and Lindelof for 5 million. And with the reports of Man United trying to buy another centre back, I think Luke Shaw or Brandon Williams at 4.5 are going to be the option that I'm going to go with. Hopefully Brandon Williams starts because 1, I prefer him, and 2, he's cheaper, so that's a win-win. Moving on to my midfield then, so we've gone with two big boys. We've gone with Raheem Sterling ahead of Kevin De Bruyne, just because they're both the same price this year, and Raheem Sterling is going to score more goals than Kevin De Bruyne. Assists don't count as much for goals, so you'll probably see it probably even out, if not Sterling coming out on top in terms of points in that regard, like per million, if you would say.
Yeah, let's just hope he doesn't miss sitters like he did against Leon.
That would not be ideal. We've got big boy Bruno, got the captain's armband at the minute. His points per game on FPL so far, obviously he did just join in January, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Takes penalties, I don't care, he gets me points, that's the main thing. We got Hakim Ziyech in at £8 million. I think
Come on.
he's got unreal value for money at £8 million, the same price as Willian. There's a lot of midfielders around that 8 to 9 million rank, and that you can pick and choose from. So it's an easy switch out if he doesn't start or if like you're not playing well from the beginning. I've gone with St Maximan in at my fourth midfield position. I think for £5.5 million. Yeah, he's playing in a Newcastle side, but if Newcastle are going to score, it's going to be through him. One way or another, so he's straight up into my starting 11. We've gone Thomas Souček, but into my starting 11, unlike Ben. His stats are absolutely unreal. He played very well post-lockdown, scoring a couple goals, I do believe, in one game. So yeah, good player. I reckon very, very cheap at £5 million.
£5 million is an absolute bargain. I mean, for a player who's producing those sorts of numbers, even if it's in a different league, you just got to get him in.
Exactly. Just like Mateus Pereira, he's another player that we're looking at. He hasn't actually signed.
Sign it. Come on, sign it. Let him into your team.
But he's got, like, what is it, 8 goals, 16 assists in the Championship, but there's no way he will not replicate some sort of similar numbers in the Premier League. And then my two strikers, I've gone with Anthony Martial at £9 million, unreal value for money. The only issue is with Man United is who's scoring those goals. It can be Rashford, it can be Greenwood, it could be Sancho if he actually signs, it could be anyone, so it's going to be interesting to see. And obviously because Martial's a striker now, he will get less points than last season because he's moved up into striker.
Yeah, that Martial one, I'm not too sure about myself, because he is that sort of player that will go through hot patches when he's hot. He's good, on fire. But he is that player who will go through a cold patch in a season. Yeah,
but it's all about bringing them in, bringing them out, taking them out at the right time, etc. Then my final striker at £10.5 million, so I could literally get anyone I wanted. I've gone with Harry Kane, the guy who always scores goals. Even last season, scored 20 goals, went straight under the radar. It's Mourinho's second season. We all know
we know what Mourinho does in a second season. Lewis knows all too well.
Damn right.
And then moving on to my bench, as I mentioned, I had Matthew Ryan for that keeper rotation. I've gone with Charlie Taylor as my Burnley defensive asset because Nick Pope is far too expensive this year. Stuart Dallas is my Leeds option, depending on how well they do at the back. He's great going forward, he's very versatile as well. He can play either full-back, in defensive midfield and centre-back, so a lot of room there. And then my final forward is Keenan Davis because he's the best of a bad bunch and he gets a few minutes for Villa every now and then.
Yeah. It's a decent team, but it's not quite as good as mine, I don't think.
That's what we've got to wait and see.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see. Finally, but by no means least, Lewis.
It's what we've been waiting for.
We have been waiting for this moment. How many Chelsea players have you gone for?
Only 3 because these guys wouldn't let me put any more. And that really was a problem because I had like 4 the last time and I was struggling to pick these out. But I've gone for your Carlo Ancelotti 4-4-2 because I really didn't think about the tactics going into this. But I'm still happy with the players that I got. In goal, we're going to start with Alisson because best goalkeeper in the league and probably the best defence in the league in front of him as well. That is going to get you points. And to top that off, Van Dijk starts off in defence in front of him as well. I put Alderweireld because, like you said, Jose's second season. I do think Spurs could fly under the radar this season as well because everyone's talking about the top 4 race, everyone's talking about title race, Spurs won in any of those. And I think they can slip under the radar, and Alderweireld is their best defender in my opinion, so I'll put him in there. I've gone for Reece James because I have to have a Chelsea player in there, and I think Reece James is going to develop leaps and bounds this season. And I've gone from Bastion for Sheffield United for my 4th defender because Sheffield United have a decent defensive record and I think that's still going to stay for them this season. In midfield, we've gone for, start for the 2 United players first. Mason Greenwood because he bangs goals. If we're being real, he bangs goals, he bangs them consistently. And like you said as well, from midfield, that will get me extra points as well. You've gone for Bruno Fernandes because this guy always gets a penalty, like literally every match. Also gets an assist or 2 as well, so he's always going to be a sucker for points. Mason Mount is probably the only one where I'm not so sure about because I don't know if he's going to start as regularly as I think he will. I do think he'll get a decent amount of game time though because he was really key to our midfield this season. I think he still will be next. And he pops up with goals and assists as well. Dele Alli as well in midfield because we're talking about Jose's second season. We're also talking about this guy was the one player everyone was talking about when Jose Mourinho first joined because they were like, oh, Dele Alli's going to be your next Frank Lampard, and we haven't really seen that yet.
Yeah.
His second season, Jose. If Dele Alli's really about it, he's going to have an amazing season. If not, poor choice. Up front, Timo Werner, you already know why. I think only Messi or Lewandowski's made more goals in Europe than Werner this season, and I don't think that's going to stop for him next season. He might have a bit of a slow start, but to say they'll have a poor season, nah. I'd say at least a minimum of 15 goals this season from Timo Werner. And for my last striker, I've gone for Patrick Bamford because I think Leeds are a bit of... you can't really tell with them. They might have a decent season, they might have a pretty bad season, but it's like your little joker card or something. I'm not really that sure, but I'm willing to put a risk on Patrick Bamford because I think if they're going to play well, it sounds basic to say it, but it's going to be based on their strikers. And when it comes to relegation battles and stuff, you're only as good as your best goal scorer. So I'll throw Patrick Bamford in there. Looking at the bench, I don't even remember who my bench was. I've gone for Nick Pope in goal because I think he had the most points out of any goalkeeper last season.
Yeah, he was a top point scorer for goalkeepers.
Yeah, I really think that's the only reason why I picked him. But he had a good season for Burnley as well, so I'll throw him in. Joe Gomez as well, because I'm not really sure who's going to start based on Matip or Van Dijk. But if either of them start, I think Liverpool are still bolted on to get a clean sheet. It's an easy bet to make. I've gone for Jose Perez because he's one of Leicester's more attacking players and he's also on the cheap as well. Could be worth a decent point here and there. And I've gone for Maupay as the final striker because another one from the relegation threatened sides who can still produce a goal every now and then. It all depends on the games. I'd like Brighton at the start of the season, but whenever it gets to the end of the season, their form just peters out and it's like, how did you guys not get relegated? So it might be a decent option at the start of the season, but it probably won't last. But yeah, that's my team.
There are some really interesting picks in there. I didn't think about Dele Alli at all until they started talking about him. And looking back, he was their best player when Mourinho came back in.
I remember going straight in when Mourinho came in. He returned, I think, 4 weeks in a row or something like that. He's a great little asset to have, and he's quite cheap. I think he's around 8 million, isn't he?
Yeah.
Did he get injured before lockdown? I know Son and Kane did. Is that why his form dipped, or was it just him playing?
I think it might have just been him.
Yeah.
Okay, might have been because I was wondering what happened to him towards the end of the season. But yeah, next season, if he really is about it, he should be having a great season.
Yeah, some really interesting picks. What do you think? I think one that interested me the most was Reece James, because obviously he's your first choice right back. Do you think he can provide those attack and returns like we see Trent bringing us like literally every other week?
Definitely. The thing about Reece James is versatile. Defensively, I say, he's still got a little bit to go. Going forward, he's excellent. And compared to some of the crosses I've seen over the last 2 seasons, he's our best crosser by a mile. At least before Ziyech turned up. But yeah, he's our best crosser defensively by a mile.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The biggest thing that stuck out to me in your team was me and Josh have both gone for Trent. No doubt about it, he's the first name in our team sheet.
100%.
Why haven't you gone for Trent?
I was thinking more clean sheets, but I'm now thinking Trent gets you a bag ton of assists as well. So that might have been a bit of an L from me, but I'm going to still stick by it because Van Dijk will probably get me a few more clean sheets.
There's obviously time before fixtures come out, and when fixtures come out, I'm sure that my team is going to change dramatically. So we probably will have an update video a few days after the fixtures come out.
Gotta have Havertz in there once he joins.
Yeah, lots of transfers to come as well. It'll be interesting to see what the relegation sides do in terms of their business, because they're the ones that you can really find, like those hidden gems, those budget areas.
Yeah, we've got to wait for those signings to come in, Pereira. And we'll see what happens. William's just been added into the game at a hefty 8 million, which you've got to be crazy to be going for that because he is in a retirement home, as you quoted on Twitter.
Literally a retirement home, old folks home, call it whatever you want. How the hell is he 8 million?
Gets you about 20, nearly 20 goals and assists a season though.
Only one season.
On set pieces as well, probably for Arsenal. I don't know who else.
It might be an option to take up if he gets in form.
I think the main question with Willian is his game time, because they have the likes of Aubameyang, Pepe, Lacazette, Saka. Like, where is he actually going to
Yeah.
I feel like it was more of a bench role of what he's gone to William.
Yeah,
to Arsenal.
definitely we'll have to wait and see about that one. Right, so those have been our drafts for Fantasy Premier League before fixtures are out. If you think we need to make any changes, comment down below. What are we changing in our team? What should we be looking to do? Who's got the best formation? Let us know in the comments. As always, like, subscribe. So I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
I've been Lewis.
And that was FPL Graduates. See you later.
See you later.